our reading for the day. Now we're going to get into our rotations. We have several different rotations we want to cover today, talking about rhetoric. First group is the teacher-led group, is in the back. We're going to read the Nobel Prize speech, acceptance speech by Elie Wiesel. Then we're going to work on some writing. Those in the writing group, you're going to write this paragraph down. This is a run-on sentence. We're working on repairing run-on sentences. You're going to write this paragraph down. You're going to properly punctuate it with periods and commas. You have about 10 minutes and we're going to go over it. Other group, third group, you're going to Achieve 3000. You're going to go through the article and then you're going to answer all of the necessary questions all the way through the stretch. It is 9:03 now. You may begin. Go back here. All right, you guys should be on the Nobel Peace Prize for Elie Wiesel. Your instructions are to read the article, and then you're going to answer the quiz questions. There are 10 questions, but you're only going to answer 5. Remember, we're talking about rhetoric. So keep that in mind as you answer those questions. You have 10 minutes, and I'll be back and we'll discuss it.
I can't find it.
Go. All right. Me. Okay. Should have been in your lessons. Anybody else having the same problem?
No.
Okay. Generally what you can do is hit your email or search. So what you're looking for is Earthships.
The future home.
Future of Home. How'd you find it?
Ulysses.
I just typed it in, I couldn't get to it. So I'm gonna do it the other way. Earthships, the future of home. Anytime you can't find something, all you have to do is hit search. What you're gonna do is read those articles, read that article and answer those questions. Okay. We talked about in writing. Topic sentence is the most important thing when writing a paragraph. Short and to the point. Keep that in mind as you develop the first sentence. Why is it in all caps? So you can see it. Also, I don't want to tip you off where the points go. But the most important part about writing, if you talk it in regular speech, you can hear the natural places where you will put periods and commas just by listening to yourself speak. Keep that in mind along with the fact that you want to have your topic sentence be short and to the point. What you want to do is introduce your subject, then say something about what the subject is doing without going into detail. If you go into too much detail, nobody's going to read what you wrote. If you write a 100-page book and you put everything in the first page, do you really think somebody's going to read those other 99? No. Keep that in mind. Keep the reader on the hook. Close your computer. I'll do that right now.
Mister, this is blurry.
Do what?
Even though I already got the answer.
Very.
It's blurry.
I think it's because you have to go, you got to answer the guided questions first.
Oh.
A lot of time. It's going to be blurry until you answer the guided questions, then it opens up the rest of it. It's about 5 minutes down. Another 5 minutes. What we're doing is differentiated instructions. The purpose of differentiated instruction is to make sure that we cover a lot of different benchmarks, techniques, fit as much as we can into a tightly contained window. We did our text reading. Now we're doing further reading comprehension with aligned questions in the back with the teacher-led group. Further reading comprehension here. And we're also doing writing techniques. So we try to cover the whole ball every day in class. shouldn't take you no more than 3 or 4 minutes to write that down. Another 3 or 4 minutes. More likely to go over writing first since we're close on time. And after 15 minutes, we're gonna rotate. Night is a groundbreaking story. It details a story that was not meant to be told. It details a story that was not meant to be told. Remember, all the Jews were supposed to be exterminated. He survived to tell the tale. Writers, you have 3 minutes. By now, my group should be on questions. Only the first 5. Yes. Okay. 2 minutes. We'll go over the responses in 5 minutes. Finish flowing. One-minute writers. Show some life. Don't let the writing beat you down. Okay, writing group. Keeping in mind the topics in it, short and to the point. Introduce your subject and what the subject is doing. Having said that, what is my first punctuation period or comma?
Hurricane Ian devastated South Florida, period.
Do you agree or disagree? Correct. Hurricane Ian, your subject, is devastated South Florida, period. What's the next one? What's the next punctuation? No, we're on the clock, on the clock, on the clock. You gotta think fast, think fast. What's the next one? Starting with the. Drop.
The natural disaster attacked the state with vicious wind over 9 feet, the storm. Oh, period. Over 9 foot.
Listen to what you're
storm.
saying. What'd you just say? Remember I told you, listen to the sounds of the words. They tell you where the punctuation goes. What do you have?
The natural disaster attacked the state with vicious winds, comma, over 9-foot storm and, comma, millions of dollars property damage, period.
Did you hear the sound of the words? Say it again slowly. The natural breaks tell you where to put the commas.
The natural disaster attacked the state with vicious winds, comma, over 9-foot storm, comma, and millions of dollars in property
is correct. So, Hurricane Ian devastated South Florida, period. The natural disaster attacked the state with vicious winds, comma, over 9 foot, that should say storm surge, they got erased. Storm surge, comma, and millions of dollars in property damage, period. Okay, tricky one, what's next, Mr. Frazier? Somebody else besides Mr. Dusky? What's the next one? I gotta move on. Abrams? What's the next one? Starting with meanwhile. Meanwhile. Take a shot. Just sound it out. Help him out, Mr. Kirsten. Starting with meanwhile. Close, but is anything before that?
A comma after meanwhile,
Why you say that?
because it says meanwhile, you pause, you keep going on the sentence.
Correct, there's a natural pause there. Also with that, you setting this off because this enhances your sentence. It's not necessary, it just makes it stronger. When you say meanwhile, the natural pause, comma, then the rest of the sentence, which was what? You said, Kiers?
The western half of the state was spared any damage. Period.
Period, that is correct. Okay, you guys finish that up, and I'll be back. Okay.
It's not showing me the text.
Text?
No, look, I'm sending it in, it's still not showing me the text. How am I gonna answer the question?
All right, you able to get to it? Okay, just go back here. So, what is the story about? What's the story about? Okay, what about it?
Talking about what happened, like his experience.
Okay, so when we start talking Nobel Peace Prize, what are we talking about, Mr. Crow?
We're talking about him getting a Nobel Peace Prize for surviving and doing all of that.
Okay. What is the significance of that, though, having a Nobel Peace Prize? Mr. Ledbetter, Smith, anybody? What's the significance of that? Does everybody win the Nobel Peace Prize?
No.
So that's letting you know right then, if you didn't know anything about the story, that this was a very, very critical piece of literature that's important for all mankind. Those are the kind of people that win Nobel Peace Prize. Okay, so at the end of that selection, man, when he's explaining his when he's giving his acceptance speech and all the different things he says, there are quiz questions that are related to what we were talking about today, rhetorical appeals. So, have we all finished those questions? Okay, so on the last one, well, you go ahead and finish that up, and I'll be back in 1 minute, and we'll talk about the answers.